Is this a show we call it Triggered?
There it is.
And oh shit, Jesse's here. What up? And I think we're live. Jesse, you there? Jesse?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Here?
I can hear you, Jesse. Can you hear me?
What the fuck, dude? I can't hear shit.
I got you. Can you hear me, Jesse? Well, there you go.
He's gone. All right, all right. Well, we're live as fuck, and we already broke the fourth wall fucking seconds in. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Keyboard Warriors, presented by RepTheWarriors.com. My name is Eddie Law. That's Red Kirby. That was Jesse Duakawa. He'll be back soon, hopefully, trying to find the best free Wi-Fi you can get in the pedo van. All right. So obviously, the biggest thing people are talking about right now, well, two things. But one is the savior of UFC 222. Basically, just a cop out to keep it a pay-per-view. They have booked officially, and let me pull up the young lady's name. It's Chris Cyborg versus Yana Kunitskaya for the 145 belt main event, UFC 222. And then Brian Ortega stepping in there for Max Holloway to take on Frankie Edgar in the co-main event. I'm not impressed there, Fred. Not impressed at all. I mean, it should be a fight night.
Free blowjobs for anybody who can name Yana whatever the fuck's last opponent.
Exactly.
Who the fuck? I mean, all due respect, who is this? I don't even really know where to start with this shit, man. I'm so tired of Cyborg. Can we just get Cyborg out of here at this point? Like, what are we doing? Who is this chick she's fighting? Why should we care? Like, is that the headliner of this pay-per-view?
Yeah, that's the main event.
I gotta tell you, boy, WME starting to have some kind of balls on them. This is just not going to fly, Jack. I mean, I am about as diehard as they come, and I can't justify paying for this. I'm going to have to pill for this one. I just can't.
Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard. Look, I can't justify it. It's hard to justify it for a regular card. Like, fucking doing this one's going to be impossible. You know what I mean? Like, I'm expecting to be, like, the worst, like, pay-per-view numbers ever just on this one.
Bro, I mean, all due respect, who does everybody think Cyborg is? She's not that kind of a draw. No. Bro, she is not Conor McGregor. You cannot put her against a broomstick and still get those kind of buys. She is not going to sell against this girl that nobody has heard of. And to all the little fight nerds out there that might be like, she's a 9-0 Muay Thai black man, suck my dick. She's a broad that none of us have ever fucking heard about, and nobody wanted or was even thinking. Who the fuck is this? What the fuck?
Nobody knows. And they just, if she was supposed to make her debut, I think on the same card earlier in the night, and now they just bumped her up. It's this whole mindset of we need a title fight in order for it to be a pay-per-view. Now, mind you, Brian Ortega against Frankie Edgar as a main event is not going to sell 222.
Well, hell no. That's a good fucking fight.
That's a great fight.
Still ain't it's not bro, they need to just bite the bullet and take this off a pay-per-view. It's ridiculous at this point.
This shit should not be a pay-per-view. This whole thing with Cyborg on there, it's just to keep it as a pay-per-view. It's the worst cop-out ever. Look, the card is not bad. It's not a terrible fucking card. I mean, fuck, the card, the fucking next weekend's fight night's probably better than 222, but the card itself is pretty solid fights. I mean, besides the Cyborg one, we got Frankie, you got Brian Ortega, you got that O'Malley kid against Soku, whatever the fuck. Andre, the Asian sensation. Yeah. Stefan Struve, exactly. Stefan Struve against Arlovsky's on there. Kat Zingano returns against Ketlin Vieira. It's not and Mackenzie Dern makes her debut. Dariush against Green. Dodson against Munoz rebooked. I mean, in the end, it's not an awful card. That would be a banging Fox card or a banging FS1 card, but it's not a good pay-per-view card whatsoever.
No, it's not a great pay-per-view card. I'm sorry. As much as I love Kat Zingano and a few of the other names you rattled off there, it's not. There's no no kind of star power there at all, really.
Yeah, and look, if Chris Cyborg wins this one, it's like, then what? So what? You know what I mean? Like, what's next?
Who gives a fuck if Chris Cyborg wins? I mean, that's what you know what? Real talk. I'm losing some respect for Cyborg. Because if I'm Cyborg at this point, I'm like, yo, I don't want no more of these fights. Why the fuck am I in the UFC if I'm still fighting hoes that nobody's heard of? Give me Kat Zingano. Why the fuck she fighting somebody else? That's a way better fight. At least it's a fight, a name we recognize. I mean, I just do not get this matchmaking at all. Like, a win over this girl does zero for Cyborg. I mean, less than zero. It's nothing.
It's a non-starter. It's absolutely a non-starter. There's
Literally.
no reason. So yeah, nobody's gonna watch. I mean, people will watch it, but they're not gonna pay for it. And again, solid, maybe a great fight night card. It's an awful pay-per-view. Let's just be real about it. What are your thoughts here on this thing? So Dana White goes on UFC tonight, earlier tonight, and says that Tyron Woodley is full of shit on this whole Nate Diaz thing. If you guys missed it, Tyron Woodley's been going off and on and on and on and on about how he thinks his next opponent is Nate Diaz, right? Dana White comes out and says, yeah, he's full of shit. He's not fighting Nate Diaz, but he's going to fight Rafael dos Anjos. Now, conventional wisdom says Dana White said one thing. It's usually the opposite. Are you buying that argument on this one, or do you think he's for real on the RDA train?
I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore, man. I kind of thought they were going to do Cyborg versus Nunez too.
Yeah,
that was the heated rumor, and then boom, they dropped this on us. I don't know. I definitely, Dana White's told us before not to trust him. Certain things he says is gospel, and then other shit he's keeping us in the dark, literally on purpose because he's a promoter. So I definitely, respectfully, take what Dana White says with a grain of salt. And I say that respectfully. I know that that's his job to bullshit us sometimes. We're Joe Public. He ain't gonna let us know exactly what's what. So I tell you what, fuck that. Let's have this discussion.
Okay.
What do we want to see, and what do we think the fans would rather see? Let's discuss both these fights. So here's the deal. He definitely will probably either fight RDA or Nate Diaz at this point. We can probably agree on that, right?
Right.
They either
no one else.
They go the freak show route and give us Nate, or we get the standard title challenger, which would be RDA at this point. Much of that burns my biscuit. So okay, let's talk about Nate for a minute.
Okay.
Let's say they do the Nate fight. I hate that fight. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm all for a freak show, and I love Nate Diaz, but what in the absolute fuck is going on if Nate Diaz walks in off the street after 6.5 years and just fights for the welterweight title? Again, I'm not one of these people that needs all that divisional relevancy and all that shit, but Jesus fucking Christ, just a little bit of credibility would help a little bit. On the flip side, do I want to see RDA fight Tyron Woodley for a belt in a pay-per-view main event or co-main event? Not really. To be honest with you, that fight doesn't tickle my pickle too much either. So I don't really know, man. I mean, Nate Diaz don't deserve the fucking shot, not one iota.
No.
But maybe a fucking RDA, and I don't even know. I was going to say it's more exciting, but he's an exciting fighter. But if there was more heat behind that matchup, then maybe this Nate Diaz thing wouldn't even be a thing. But the fact that I don't think nobody's really clamoring to see RDA fight for the belt either doesn't help those of us who don't really want to see Nate Diaz fight for the belt. So I don't know.
Yeah, the whole thing. I prefer the Nate Diaz fight over the RDA fight. Just for the fact that, hey, look, fuck it, we're not making sense anyway. We stopped trying to make sense about any fights whatsoever a long time ago. Thus, Cyborg versus Yana, whatever the fuck her last name is, right? So, as far as Nate goes, I would prefer the Nate fight. I wouldn't be mad at the RDA fight, honestly. Like, I'd be okay with that. But outside of that, I mean, who are you gonna throw in there? Covington? You're not doing the Thompson fight again. You're not gonna, jump Till up there to fight Tyron Woodley as much as a lot of people would like that. But it's a strange situation. But with Dana White, I always go opposite of what he says. So I have a feeling we're gonna get that Nate fight. And I think what the UFC thought is this: look, throw him in there against Nate. We do good pay-per-view numbers, or better than Tyron Woodley would do by himself or with somebody else, right? Do better pay-per-view numbers, and if he beats Nate, fine, it keeps the belt, and we keep moving. We do the RDA fight next, or we get lucky, Nate wins, and then we can do champion against champion. Fuck Khabib and Ferguson, whatever's going on with that. We don't take fucking Connor's belt, and we do champion against champion at Madison Square Garden for the welterweight title, and then you do massive pay-per-view numbers with that. I think it's like their long shot, conspiracy theory sounding type of fucking plan. But as far as this fight goes, it's just weird. And I mean, I still find it weird. No, I don't find it weird. I understand why people don't want to watch Tyron Woodley fight. He hasn't necessarily made himself very exciting recently, but the challenges just aren't there. It's a weird thing. Jesse, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Good.
Your thoughts on Dana White saying that Tyron Woodley is not fighting Nate Diaz, that Tyron Woodley's full of shit. He said those words: that Tyron Woodley's full of shit, and that he's fighting RDA next.
Man, it's hard because well, I think I had told you guys that there's rumblings that I had heard that RDA fight was damn near, the ink was still basically drying on the contracts and stuff. But man, this is kind of out of left field, right? And I could see it happening, like you were saying. At this point, we just take what Dana White says, and then we just go, "Oh, okay, so the opposite is happening." Obviously, because when Dana White comes out, it'll never happen. He'll never do this. That'll never ever, as long as I live. And then the couple hours later, breaking news. Whatever Dana White said, here it is. So it's just tough. It's tough. But like Fred, when I came into the chat here, Fred was saying, whatever. Let's make it happen. We'll get some pay-per-view buys, and then finally we'll have some closure to this whole Nate Diaz thing, right? He's saying he's gonna come back. He wants to fight Conor. He wants to make the big bucks. He's gonna fight Tyron Woodley if that's true, and he'll make some money. And if he wins the title, great. We'll have a trilogy. If not, great. We move on. So it's whatever for me right now at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's we're gonna get something, and I think they were trying to save or Nate was talking about, oh yeah, I'll jump on 222. Can you imagine Nate getting down to fight Frank Yeager at 155 pounds? That'd be
I could see that.
I mean, yeah, but like let Frankie stay at 45.
Yeah,
City's a good fight for Frankie. That's actually a really good fight. And I mean, as far as Nate goes, if we want to just stop acting fucking silly for a minute, Nate should go to 55.
Yeah, of course.
Plenty of guys there. That's his weight division, and that's where Conor his money fight. Like, why are we talking about Nate at 170, man? Like, I don't know, dog. This whole fucking WME thing is really fucking. They're
reaching for the money, dude.
Yeah, but I feel like, they're fucking it up in the long run, though. You know what I'm saying? Even as far as getting the money goes, like, I feel like I see what they're doing, but I feel like it's kind of foolhardy. You know what I mean? Like, right. They're playing all these big cards now. What happens later? Like, what the fuck are we going to do in June or August or September? They're having all these champion versus champion fights and shit. Like, this shit is going to lead to some goddamn disastrous cards later on this year. And you ain't making no money on those.
You think it's too many super cards and shit? Like, there's just too many stacked cards that they're losing out on fights later on.
Yeah, and just there's a method to the madness with the way they match fighters up and the way that Joe Silva used to do shit, man. Yeah. Listen, I swear, man, it's like when you get hip to a band or a rapper or an artist, and you find them when they're making that first CD, and you get with them, and they're dope as fuck. And then they make another CD, and that shit's dope. And then their fan base grows. And the next thing you know, they get signed by a major label, and they drop that next CD, and you're like, who the fuck are you guys? I don't know you no more. The UFC is going through that phase right now. They had a process that made them very popular worldwide. Don't fix it if it ain't broken. Like, y'all was doing it. Now y'all trying to switch shit up, call yourself trying to make money, and I think it's not viable for the long term. When you got somebody like Conor McGregor, you can do special shit with him. You can't start trying to play those cards everywhere. Fucking DC and Stipe ain't Conor.
Right.
You can't try to make things super fights that ain't goddamn super fights.
No, I hear you on that shit. What do you think there, Jesse?
What do you mean? Ask me the question again.
Oh no, I was saying like with what we're talking about right now is the cards later on. What's going to happen with cards later on to keep making these super fights? You think it's going to? You think all these super cards, these super fights that they're doing, is just fucking cards up later on? Because I feel like we're starting to feel that pinch now with with Max dropping out and everything.
You know what? We don't even have to look at the future. We can already see these two cards coming up. Yeah, this pay-per-view. That we're supposed to be paying $65 for, where the main event is Luke Rockhold and Yoel Romero, which I heard the greatest nickname for him, the Cuban Muscle Crisis. That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. The guys over there at the co-main event podcast we're toting that a couple weeks down in a row. That's a good one. But That's not main event worthy. That's Fox worthy. I mean, honestly. And think about the Fox cards that we've had recently. Those are crap. They could have put on that fight instead on one of those cards, and we would have had an awesome main event. And the co-main event that we're having on that pay-per-view card is crap as well. I mean, so it's like, and I'm not talking about the fighters themselves. I'm saying I'm paying $65 for these main events that just aren't worth it. It just is terrible. So we're already feeling that pinch of stacking up one card like the, what is it? The International Fight Week, right?
Right.
We're already feeling it. So, I mean, I was gonna ask you guys about this. Do you guys think that the UFC is thinking that their brand, their name is so important that they don't even have to give us who's going to be on the card? They're just going to be like, hey, we're going to, Texas, buy the tickets here. Do you think they're trying to get kind of like a WWE type model where if you go to house shows, they don't tell you who's going to be there. They just say, hey, we're showing up. We're putting on a show for you guys. Here are the tickets. And people buy the tickets without knowing who's actually going to be there. Do you think the UFC thinks that they're big enough to be able to do that?
Shit. They better not, Jack. Listen, there are some similarities between professional wrestling and mixed martial arts. But mixed martial arts is a very, very unique thing. It's like part sport, part WWE, part fucking street fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's not really none of those things. People are like, it's a sport. Nah, it ain't. It ain't quite a sport, Jack. And it's like WWE. It ain't WWE. It's not scripted. So no, you can never do that. Like, yeah, the WWE can sell you on that shit because it don't matter who's gonna show up. It don't matter who's gonna win or lose. You're gonna get a show. With the fucking UFC, if you put Kobe Covington versus damn near anybody in there, it's going to be a bit of a boring fucking shit show. Yeah. Like, you can't guarantee fireworks with fighters, man. It matters. If Nate Diaz is on a card and you book him properly, it's going to be a fucking fun fight. If you like seeing fucking lots of blood and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
They can't do that.
Okay, like
they better not try it.
I see what you're saying, Fred, but look at what just happened at the London card, right? Before they had a main event, co-main event or anything, they said, hey guys, tickets are on sale. We're going to London. There's a few of the undercard fights that they had announced, but nothing that you could say, hey, I'm going to spend my money and go there. And it kind of seems to me like they're doing this more and more often where they don't have it planned out, like who's going to be the main event, but yet they're like, hey, we're going to be here, buy tickets now. Well, don't worry, we got you guys. We're going to put on a show. So to me, it's like they're kind of thinking that people are just going to buy the tickets because it's the UFC. And if you go look at WWE events, they just say, hey, you're going to see some of your favorite people on here, and they sell out everywhere. So do you think the UFC's a little bit up there, as Fred would say, they're drinking their own Kool-Aid, and now they think, hey, the UFC is more important than the fighters?
You know what's funny about this, man, is this really shouldn't even be surprising to any of us, should it? Like, at the end, well, no, I'm serious. At the end of the day, look at what's going on here. The UFC was bought and fucking, you know what I'm saying, brought back from the dead like a goddamn phoenix by real fight fans, by guys like the Fertitta brothers and Dana White back when he had power, and Joe Silva. And, like it or not, and I know there's a lot of fucking people that used to complain about Joe Silva and the way he ran things and shit, man, but it just didn't seem like we used to have these problems in the UFC. It just seems like those cats knew how to promote fights better. They knew how to do this better, and they sold it to Hollywood, and Hollywood don't know what it's doing. Straight up.
Well, think about what Joe Silva did. I mean, wasn't it like several months after the fact that he was already gone that a lot of those matchups were still his that he matched up together and put together? Like months and months in advance. Like, we don't have that anymore. We have, last minute fights, these fighters negotiating their contracts to the very last minute, basically.
Well, and here's the thing too, man. You got a lot of people that are like, well, Sean Shelby's still there. Yeah, man, but it's different. You see, Sean Shelby's there, but now the suits run the show. So who's behind the scenes telling Sean Shelby, well, that's cute, but this would probably be a little better. And if Sean pushes back, Who does that look, man? Hollywood controls it now. Everything goes up a ladder. So yeah, back in the day, Joe Silva had a direct pipeline to Frank Fertitta and Lorenzo Fertitta, who basically, as far as the UFC went, was God. So if Joe Silva needed something done, he'd go to the Dons, and it was golden. It was done. If he's like, yo, this is a fight that needs to happen, fuck what everybody else is saying. As long as DW and the Fertittas was on board, it's done. Now, Sean Shelby can probably say, yeah, this is the fight. But if somebody really wants to take it up to fucking Ari Emanuel, he can probably come in and be like, you know what? We're just going to give it to Nate Diaz instead, actually. That name's a lot sexier. And Sean, you're a good kid, but, you know, complain, we'll fire you.
Yeah, well, hey, fuck. I wonder why Joe Silva left for a reason. I guess he saw that coming too. Very possible.
Real shit.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. I mean, Dana White ever leaves, the thoughts will be, that Ari Emanuel's insufferable prick, which he might, especially if you believe on Entourage.
Listen, y'all. I mean, Dana's been heavily invested in the Zuffa boxing thing. He ain't calling it WME boxing.
Calling Zuffa.
That's right.
Yep.
That motherfucker might be like, yo, I'm on my way out. In 2 or 3 years from now, we might see an interview with Dana like, look, this was my plan all the time, and I just didn't have nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I had this whole like thing mapped out.
Yeah, he's been working behind the scenes, kind of like Pride did when they sold the UFC all those shit contracts. They were working on Dream already. All right. Raider, what up, Raider? In the comment section saying they were doing it last year too, selling tickets, and there was no main event, two funky fights on the card. It happens all the time. This UFC London thing was the same thing, and they couldn't find a fucking main event, and they just bumped out whatever was on the higher on the pecking order. Anyway, and real quick, because social media works as fast as it does. Apparently, according to, and I have to find this dude's Twitter real quick. All right, according to RJ Clifford, who's he's an MMA guy. He says Dana White on UFC Tonight. Dana White said that UFC lawyers had to call Woodley to tell him to stop saying he was fighting Nate Diaz. Whatever. I mean, I guess that whatever that means to anybody. And then Tyron Woodley responded to a clickbaitfighting.com article saying, "Who has history of being full of shit? TW or DW?" Good points. All good points.
Good burn on that one.
Bro, look, man, you go on national television, you call your welterweight champion a liar, and you don't expect a bit of a clapback. Come on, man. But that's what happens.
Well, I mean, he is part of that Fox panel. So, I mean, is he really the best guy to be talking about any kind of news or MMA sports related things?
I don't know. Ask Brendan Schaub about that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, was that a topic?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
I was going to that next.
Okay. I was going to say, if you wasn't, I definitely want to talk about
that. Do it. What do you think about that?
I want to hear. Wait. Before we get there, I want to hear Fred's take. Fred, did you hear what he also said about the whole Cyborg versus CM Punk thing?
Cyborg versus like female Cyborg versus CM Punk?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear nothing about that.
Yes, sir. By the way, I don't think that I was ignoring you guys earlier. It was because I was looking it up so I could actually quote what he said.
Okay.
But basically, he says something to the extent of that he watched the movie Battle of the Sexes, and he was thinking, what do you do with CM Punk? Then he goes, maybe put him on Fox, and what about a Chris Cyborg fight? What if you do a Battle of the Sexes? What about this whole Me Too movement, and you put one for the ladies and let Cyborg knock his fucking head off? She would knock his fucking head off. What about that? Then he goes again, why not do it? I mean, you're having a tough enough time. You're making these super fights, and you want to kind of jump on this whole bandwagon of this Me Too movement, and we care about women. Both of those things in quotations, stuff like that. Let Cyborg fight CM Punk, and you can find the rest of that stuff in one of his shows. All right, so Fred, go ahead. I want to hear what Fred has to say about this whole controversy here.
Okay. So, before we throw the big brown under the bus here, let's note that he thinks he's a comedian now.
Exactly.
And we are reading these quotes. I have not heard him say these things. So maybe it's out of context and he's trying to be funny.
Right.
Because he also said that, on top of piggybacking on what you're saying with the Cyborg shit, the other thing that we were about to talk about was him being on Where did he do? Was it on the Big Brown Breakdown or
Yeah,
where was he talking about this?
It was on Big Brown Breakdown, and he was talking about the all black panel.
This is all the same show, by the way. It's on the Kevin Lee episode, apparently.
Okay, yeah. So it was on his podcast. He has Kevin Lee on. Apparently, he's talking about the Cyborg versus CM Punk shit. He also said that because what was it, the last Fight Night event?
Right.
The last one, yeah, the Fox Sports 1 panel in the studio or whatnot was what was it? Karen Bryant, Tyrone Woodley, and Yves Edwards.
Right.
So I guess Brendan Schaub, fucking big brown jerk face, thought that Fox Sports 1 was just checking off the boxes by having 3 black people doing the broadcast, which is quite hilarious because it just seems like he's such a hater saying that. First off, Karen Bryant, I know people like to talk shit about her, but she's been doing her thing for a long time. She been paying her dues. That's her job. She gonna be there. Okay. Tyron Woodley is the fucking UFC 170-pound champion. And like him or not, he's eloquent. He does that job well. Both of them destroy Brendan Schaub in that regard in every capacity. Now, Yves Edwards, if we're being completely honest, he does seem a little awkward from time to time. He's new to the booth, and maybe he's not the greatest guy to be there. All that being said, I highly doubt that Fox is trying to check the fucking boxes. Brendan Schaub just seems like a fucking douchebag and a hater. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. We don't need you trying to fucking play race politics. It's just shut the fuck up. And as far as Cyborg versus CM Punk, if he was not trying to be funny, can we get him the fuck out of here? Why does he get to talk about fighting? I mean, look at CM Punk is a joke. Give me that fight. Real shit. All bullshit aside. I'm a man. I'll fight CM Punk. Get me in a little bit of a decent shape, and I'll fight that dude for sure. But yeah, him and Cyborg's not a fair fight. But it's also a man versus a woman. You fucking moron. Yeah, that's what we need for the Me Too movement. Yeah. Brendan Dick Face. A man versus a woman. God forbid CM Punk lands a lucky punch and knocks her out. You fucking moron. Holy shit. I hope he was being funny. And he wasn't like, yeah, man, this is a Me Too movement. It's a real good idea. Hugga bugga. Fox is checking boxes. Bro, shut the fuck up.
He sounds lame. And I'm with you. He sounds salty as fuck. Like, oh, you should be me on there. Like, when we say that shit,
that's all he didn't say was they should have had me on there. Why you hate him, bro? They did fine. It wasn't like it was garbage or anything. Like, why you real talk? And I hate to be one of those people like, I don't notice color. I do notice color. I notice that it exists. But I tell you what, that night, didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I didn't realize
until he mentioned that. I didn't even realize that there were 3 black people on the panel. I didn't fucking even think about that, Brendan. Stop being such a fucking hater.
No joke. When I saw the panel, real quick, sorry, Jesse. When I saw the panel and I saw Tyron Woodley talking, or heard Tyron Woodley talking, I remember the the episode he did with Rogan and how smart he really fucking is about breaking fights down. And then he was talking about the fights that night, and I was like, wow, Tyron Woodley's fucking. No one gives him enough credit for breaking fights down pretty well. And I did not realize it was an all black panel until Schaub opened his fucking yapper. What are you saying, Jesse?
No, I was gonna say to Fred's point. I honestly think Yves is actually one of the most qualified guys there because if I remember correctly, I think he has a company or kind of like a system where he fighters come to him and he breaks down fighters and he gives them like a full like a whole report breakdown on the opponent that they're gonna have and everything. If I remember correctly, I think he's the one that does that for people. Or he did before. So he's a really, really smart, intellectual guy. Maybe he's not the most eloquent, not like a Tyron Woodley or a Karen Bryant, or even a DC or a Michael Bisping. But man, Fox knows who to put on the screen and knows who's pretty smart and pretty talented. And like Fred was saying, for somebody who's not in that position, who tried out and didn't work out for him, to say stuff like this, it it really does sound like you just that ex-girlfriend that's like all bitter and pissed at this point, you know, like, oh yeah, well, you know, they were doing better when I was gonna be there, or when they were with me, or when I was with the couple. Like, dude, come on.
It's sour grapes as fuck, bro. And no, you're absolutely right. Yves Edwards is one of the most knowledgeable guys in the game. I just think he seems like he'd be a little nervous on TV sometimes, like he like just like, that's just experience. He'll get that. Yeah. You do be nervous being on Fox and shit at first, but like he knows the sport and he's definitely going to be able to speak to it properly. I was just trying to be very crucial in my judgment and saying that Yves is the newest one to TV and whatnot, but he's still better than Brendan Dickface, like for all the hating he's doing.
Yeah, Brendan's out there doing like red carpet shit on the Oscars and not really contributing much of shit. Someone put a compilation together on YouTube of Brendan on the Oscars red carpet and on the Emmys too. I don't know. He did like a couple things in the Grammys maybe, and yeah, he's sorry at it. He's just kind of there. So you know, look, I'm with you at the beginning. If he's trying to be a comedian, I get it, but apparently a lot of people didn't believe he was being a comedian.
Well, you know, here's the sad part. If he was trying to be funny. Yeah,
swinging and miss on that shit.
It wasn't funny. No, I don't give a shit about Cyborg fighting CM Punk. It's not funny. We all know that CM Punk can't fight, and we know that Cyborg crushes cans.
Yeah. Either way, by the way, as far as CM Punk goes, the rumor is, and apparently he's got some heat behind it. CM Punk is Mike Jackson, who is who's a writer, who's a journalist at UFC 225.
You see, they snubbed me again. A writer, journalist. I might not write. But God damn it, we got a little bit of journalism happening here. They snubbed me again. He's fucking ducking me, boys. How many times can I call this little prick out? They give it to fucking Dwayne Johnson's nephew. Get the fuck out of here. I'll whip that dude's ass too.
Fucking A, man.
Bunch of fucking sissies.
Hey, you know what? And to his credit, he's a really pretty accomplished striker. He's like solid. He's pretty solid. So,
hope he beats CM Punk's ass.
He'll probably beat CM Punk's ass unless CM Punk got really good in the last how many ever years he hasn't fought in.
Man, CM Punk better start taking steroids. He needs to go holler at fucking Lance Armstrong's doctor. He's gonna get his fucking ass whooped again.
He needs to send Brock a text real quick. Hey man, I need some help. Anyway, all right. One more thing before we move on to talk about this weekend's card. Max Holloway getting hurt. Just on a real quick thing, and I know we already talked about the replacement and everything. And I remember Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure you're the one that told me something about it. Is that he got sick? He got the chicken pox and staph infection and shit.
I don't know about that. I thought it was something to do with like a hairline fracture in his leg or something like that.
There's a lot coming out. But bottom line is this: if Max Holloway pulls out of a fight, he's really fucked up. Like he's pretty fucked up. So just want to throw that out there for people that were, there was people saying, "Oh, he's ducking Frankie." I'm like, what? Shut the fuck up, you dumbass. Slap yourself for saying stupid shit.
Ducking, yeah, it's stupid.
If a guy takes on the greatest featherweight twice without blinking an eye, in Jose Aldo, I'm pretty sure he's not scared of anybody else. And stand in the pocket with them, take those kicks, take those punches. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm with you. All right. And then just real quick to check the highlights before we move on. All right. UC 221 this weekend.
Whoa. Okay, before we get into that, I was just making to see if you mentioned it. Now I hate to be this guy and I hate to bring it up because I know it's all, but I've been seeing where there's smoke, there's fire. I keep hearing about Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor McGregor in the octagon.
Are we really doing this?
Well, fuck it. Let's get into it. Go ahead.
Listen, man, I don't know what's going on sometimes. Donald Trump ran to be president. I thought, yeah, fucking right. Happens. Conor McGregor says he's going to box Floyd Mayweather in a boxing competition. I thought that's not even legal. No fucking way. Bigger than shit. It happened. Now we keep hearing that Floyd's going to fight Conor in the octagon. Now, of course, what's the first thing I thought? No fucking way. But goddamn it, we keep hearing about it. Floyd's making videos about it. And let's be honest with ourselves. Floyd doesn't really do nothing for nothing. I mean, maybe he doesn't, but I'm starting to think, man, he might just fuck around and fight Conor in the octagon.
God damn it.
I mean, Conor isn't known to have great offensive wrestling, right?
Right.
Maybe they can force it to be. And listen, if he can touch Conor once with those little gloves on, and the fact that I can even have this debate means that maybe this can, and what, you sell another 100 million? Like, and if you do lose, it's not, I mean, I don't know, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. This thing won't go away. What do you guys think? Is it impossible, or does the impossible happen yet again in this world?
I want to kill myself. I want to kill myself with this topic. Dear God, go ahead, Eddie. Before
yeah, look, I was one of the ones that to the very fucking end, until it was officially announced, was saying this is not going to happen. Stop buying into the bullshit. They're just trying to see how much they can wrap people up. When it was announced officially, I was the first one to say, holy shit, this is actually going down.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before I interrupt you. Okay, quick question. Now, rewind. If I had to ask you guys a year ago, check it out. Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor will fight. Which do you think is more likely to happen first? Conor to box Floyd, or for Floyd to come to the UFC?
Box.
I'll answer.
Box.
I would have thought the UFC.
Really?
What the fuck? They couldn't get Floyd to box Pacquiao. And that's in boxing. The UFC, James Toney came to the UFC. The UFC is very open to doing these things into bending. Boxing never does shit like this, ever. But when's the last time somebody came in from another sport and boxed a fucking boxing champion?
But here's the thing, though. You don't have anybody that's a champion in any kind of physical, like, combat sport calling out anybody in boxing, to the point where Conor McGregor literally is Ireland. He is Ireland. So you have a whole country that you can tap into in a market that, I mean, can you name me one Irish boxer? I mean, I'm sure somebody in the comments, will probably, school me on some boxing, some Irish guy. But I mean, off the top of your head, you're not going to think of one, right? So to me, I would definitely think that Floyd is smart enough to say, hey, my chances of going to MMA are not very good. If I go in there, he could kick me, take me down, whatever. Sure. I'm not very proficient in all that. But if he comes to boxing and I just, move around, box with him, he won't have the experience to outbox me. That's the easiest path for me to victory. And Floyd's all about the easiest path to victory. So had you asked me the question, even, a guaranteed, where's it going to be? It's always going to be boxing for me, because Floyd is very, very smart, and he knows exactly when to pick up these guys. Because remember, he did fight what's the ginger Mexican guy that only speaks Spanish but looks like Canelo. He fought Canelo way before Canelo was Canelo, right? He knows when to pick up these guys. He knows when to make these matchups. He's a smart guy, man. Just like Stipe took a page out of his book and took on Ngannou before Ngannou was a beast. How many times have we ever said, oh, the time to beat John Jones, the time to beat, Anderson Silva was a few years ago. Well, these guys are smart enough to go, hey, I'm going to take them now before it's past that time.
Okay, listen. What the fuck are we talking about? What else? What else do you guys have? Where are we at? Because I want to talk about John Jones and Anderson Silva or at least Anderson Silva fell in that drug test too.
Talk about it. Go ahead, dude.
Sorry. Well, wait. Finish your thought, Jesse. I know you had to finish up another one.
No. I was just that I think that if Floyd wants to make it happen, and as we were talking earlier, WME or Endeavor and the UFC now know that it's about entertainment, it's about ticket sales. And if they can make this the biggest pay-per-view that you've ever seen in your entire life, Floyd fighting in an octagon, they're going to do it. It's without question that's what's going to happen if they can figure out and make the money right. And you don't think they can make the money right? I'm pretty sure they can.
Okay, so for the record, then, you think that fight will actually happen?
I do.
Sure.
I do.
Sure.
I low key do too, man. I want to say no, but like every time I've thought no way, it fucks around and happens. Yeah. So like maybe. I mean, Nate Diaz fucking fights somebody else. They're doing the lightweight thing. Maybe they do it. Maybe.
Like you said, Fred, we've seen some crazy stuff in the last couple of years. Trump becoming president, all this other things. Yeah, if he told me, "Hey, I saw a unicorn and I caught him," I'd be like, "Hey, yeah, probably." I don't know.
Man, we saw Connor Floyd won. That's enough for me to be like this could actually happen. So
Right. Okay. Quickly, I know we gotta get to 222.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get out
Don't
here.
worry about it.
Don't worry, there's going on that pay-per-view that we got to talk about too much.
That's true.
We got. Hey, look, come on, man. Due diligence now. Come on.
So I don't even really know what happened, but I guess Anderson Silva popped for a bunch of shit, and he might get like 8 years or something. Is that what happened?
They confirmed what he took. It was like a bunch of steroids, like legit steroids.
Right. Okay. Right. So they confirmed what he took, and it was legit performance enhancers.
Yeah.
His leg has been healed for a month of Sundays at this point. What does this mean for Anderson Silva's legacy? Please, boys, I will start. Anderson, you're with John Jones. Fuck you. I'm taking them all back. I'm taking the fucking wins against Chael back. I'm taking Dan Henderson just went up skyrockets in my book. I mean, Vitor, you're still a cheating cocksucker, so he gets the win over you. But everything else is up for fucking question. He's from Pride. We all know who they got down. He came over and looked superhuman in his fucking early 30s. I'm in my early 30s right now. I barely get out of bed in the morning. Get the fuck out of here, man. He was probably cheating his fucking tits off the whole time. And I love these people that go, and I know it sucks, man. It hurt me too when I had to admit this about John Jones. John Jones was my Anderson. It hurts having to admit this. And I know that you want to make the excuse like, well, look at his body. He's so slender. Not all steroids make you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. Some of those shits are just for endurance. And as we know, some of them make your bones sharper. Fuck, we know. Anderson Silva might have been putting some shit in there that made his fucking knees and his elbows sharp. Like, I mean, I'm being fucking I'm exaggerating.
Right.
But who the fuck knows, man? If you get caught cheating like that, that's the problem with getting caught cheating. Is now we've got people say, well, you can't question his career. Fuck you, I can't.
Yeah, you can.
Now I have the right to because he got caught fucking cheating. Same thing with John Jones. If he wasn't cheating throughout his career, he should have been. Because now we're going to speculate.
Exactly. And that's the thing about having a clean sport. Right? First of all, even calling this a sport is fucking is a reach, but or a stretch. But I mean, to want a clean sport, you know, shit like this happens, you got to take it into question, right? It's okay, how long has he been doing it? For what fights? And everything's in question. Look, Barry Bonds never tested positive, and he never got quote unquote caught in baseball, if I'm not mistaken, right? Never, ever. Retired as a home run leader. Everyone's like, oh, asterisk and all this shit. He was a roid head, whatever. Or he took home, whatever. He took PEDs. Okay. And now they won't, like writers, baseball writers of America, they keep him out of the Hall of Fame because they call him a cheater, a PED user. Okay. There was no proof of that. But that's keeping this dude out of the Hall of Fame. This guy's entire legacy is put down because he may have used something, but he never got caught. Anderson Silva got caught twice. Second test. That's it. Question everything. Every single thing, question it. If we're really gonna cause a sport, question it. So that's where I'm at with that.
And I mean,
all right.
Sorry, Jesse. Just quickly before the dick pills excuse
out the window.
I mean, at this point, it gets thrown right the fuck out the window. You got popped that first time too, my dude.
Yep, Jesse.
So it was a synthetic testosterone, and also a banned diuretic that he popped for. That's what basically what they're trying to do is because he already popped, and even though that wasn't under USADA, they're trying to ban him for the full extent of, the second failure, basically, which would put him out for the rest of his career, basically.
It's the end of his American career. You still go to Japan, but it's the end of his American career. He's 38 years old, right? He's like 38, 39?
Yeah, but okay, let's talk about that. Would you watch Anderson Silva fight overseas knowing that he's more than likely over there because he can't fight here and he needs testosterone or some kind of steroid or anything to make to the fight, to make the weight and all that stuff? Is that still Anderson Silva that you remember and loved and admired?
Well, hey, look, if we're going off of what me and Fred were just saying right now, you question everything? Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch. Would I
yeah.
would I care or be invested, or like to your point, Jesse, would I feel like we're watching the same guy that we used to? No, but listen, when I watch Fedor compete, whenever the fucking Bellator, will I get the same feeling like I used to get? Things have changed. But as far as him getting caught for steroids, I guess I would look at it a little differently. Like I know that he was cheating. I'm not gonna lie, I'd still watch the fucker compete over there in Japan, but it's definitely different now. Like right. I'd watch, but you know how us fight fans are. I'd watch two fucking drunks duke it out in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven. Yeah. Of course I'll watch, but I'll watch with a very different eye. This is not who we once thought it was. If he wants to go to Japan and take freak show fights at this point, then yeah, fuck it. But I'm not watching with bated breath anymore.
I won't stay up to 3 a.m. to watch that shit. I'm just saying that.
Right. Do we feel like the entire first part of the UFC before USADA came in is basically just a throwaway? So none of those champions can really be taken seriously. Maybe GSP, maybe BJ Penn, maybe, or maybe none of these guys. Like, is that how we look at the sport before USADA?
No, I don't think it's fair to take away everybody else's achievements, but I tell you what, I mean, you have to take it. Once you get caught, you get put on that list. I think GSP been cheating for a month of Sundays, and that's not hyperbole. Real shit. I just think the prick's been cheating. Maybe it's because I'm an old school BJ fan. Maybe it's because he's built like a brick shit house. Maybe it's because I'm a hater. But he's never been caught. Exactly. So at the end of the day, we have got to give him the benefit of the doubt because that's the way it goes. Once you're caught, God damn it, you get thrown off the boat.
Yep, and that's it.
Hey, just a quick thing. Mm-hmm. Hey, Brendan Schaub, that's how you throw some shade at people. See? Throw some shade, but you don't just go full feet first into some pothole that you can't see your way out of it. By the way, speaking of Bellator, real quick, I know big event that we're going to talk about. Did you guys see about Mark Sims and his contract for fighting at Bellator to make his debut?
So this guy, they wanted to pay him $250 to show, $250 to win, $500. Yeah.
Yo, Mark, you can come paint my trailer, and I'll fucking give you more than that.
Yeah, dude. I'm totally with that dude. Said to tell Bellator to eat rocks or to kick rocks. Yeah. Fucking Bellator's got you up to UFC, bro. Yeah, send that one my way again. Real quick on the YouTube comments. There, Jeremiah Deskin says Dana was on UFC tonight. Totally shut down Neighbors Woodley fight, which usually means it's gonna happen. Raider laughing at how he's so slender, talking about Silva. And then John Smith in the comments says Hendo was not on PEDs. Period. He's a wrestler. His physique never changed. Fair enough. And then he says about Bonds. Bonds gained almost 175 pounds. Absolutely. Didn't test positive.
And he's also no. Sammy Sosa, right? Sammy Sosa was the other one that was in that home run derby, and now he's completely white. It looks all weird.
Yeah, look, I think that's a mental thing. I don't think he has that that other shit that Michael Jackson supposedly had.
Impetigo.
That shit. I think Sosa's just scared, or something. Anyway, he never tested positive. Everybody tested positive. I forgot who he was talking about. Oh yeah. And he stayed in the testing pool. Talking about GSP. He's talking about GSP. He said he's never tested positive, and he stayed in the testing pool the whole time when he was out. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a Fred thing, man. He said he could just be a hater.
No, yeah, and listen, this was my point with that though, is that I have my personal speculations about GSP, and I very well could be wrong, but in all reality, in the grand scheme of things, we cannot judge him based on my personal speculations. Until you piss hot, we have got to give you the benefit of the doubt. Right. There's all kinds of motherfuckers we can look at and assume some shit. I assume a shit about a lot of people, but once you test hot, motherfucker, that's it. I don't give me no bullshit about fucking dick pills or you having low testosterone. Nah, man, I don't want to hear none of that. Don't piss hot. You do.
Some do have low testosterone, Fred. I mean, concussive brain damage will make your T go down, But yeah, you're right. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but it also hurts because then, like Chris Weidman was commenting, right? He's saying that you have to call into question people's legacy. Right. John Jones, Anderson Silva, Vitor Belfort, even Hoist Gracie, who also tested positive for steroids before. You know, you look at all these people and you go, well, how long were you doing this for? You know, and it just sucks because there's a lot of things that they did that were great in the sport, and then to call everything into question because of what's happening now just really hurts.
Yep.
There you go. All right. If nothing else to talk about this weekend's card very quickly. UFC Fight Pass prelims for UFC 221 kickoff on Fight Pass 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time. 3 solid fights. The best fight on that was 2 solid fights. Ross Pearson against Mizuto Hirota should be pretty solid. And Teruto Ishihara, you guys know him as I Love My Bitches, against Jose Quiñones on the Fight Pass. Then FS1 prelims headline or start kicked off by Husiev Formiga against Ben Nguyen. Those kick off at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Gwen, thank you. And then Dong Hyun Kim with long hair. What the fuck? Did Dong Hyun Kim have long hair before?
You know there's 2 Dong Hyun Kims, right? What weight division is it?
This is 155.
Yeah, it's a different Dong Hyun Kim, I think.
But he had long hair the whole time.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm used to shorter hair Dong Hyun Kim. Anyway, and then he's taking on Damian Brown, the local
Australian cat.
Yeah. Yep. Then, of course, the main card on pay-per-view, we feel like paying for it, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, kicked off by Tyson Pedro against Saparbek Safarov, who is a scary Russian-looking cat.
That'll be an all right fight.
Yeah. Jake Matthews against the Leech. Li Jianliang should be solid. It'll be a ground fight for the most part. Then Tai Tuivasa against Cyril Asker. Co-main event, Mark Hunt against Curtis Blades. I think people are overlooking this Curtis Blades cat a little bit. But I think he can make for I think this out of everybody on this card, it's his night to make. Like he could do something crazy here by knocking out Mark Hunt, right? And then he'll throw his name into the heavyweight contendership. But other than that, it's not really that exciting. In the main event, of course.
Whoa. Slow down there, Speedy Gonzalez. Knock out Mark Hunt.
Curtis Blades can knock out Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt's been knocked out before.
True.
I didn't say he will.
Do you mean like ground and pound or something though? Like you don't mean actually like
not a one-hitter quitter.
Wait. Fred, you're thinking that Mark Hunt is gonna win this fight? I think he's gonna get smashed by Curtis Blades.
Really?
Like okay. Curtis Blades is a wrestler. That dude can take dudes down.
Sure, but
let's just go with this stat here for you. On Curtis Blades' first fight in the UFC, he fought Francis Ngannou, took heavy shots to the face, went 3 rounds. The only reason he lost that fight was because the doctor was like, "Nah, you're bleeding too much." That's the only reason he lost that fight. There you go. It does not hit as hard.
You do realize that Eddie could out wrestle Francis Ngannou, right?
Yep, I could. It would hurt.
Stipe just out wrestled the shit out of Francis Ngannou. I don't know, boys. Listen, he could, but I think if Curtis Blades don't get the takedown, he is fuck. Because from what I can remember of his stand-up, it's awkward at best.
Yeah, and he moved over to I forgot what gym he was at, but he's over at Easton in Easton, Colorado, training. So his cardio should be on point, I guess. I don't know, dude. It's a weird co-main event. Let's be real.
Yo, where is AC/DC an Australian band?
Is it? I don't think so.
I think they might be Australian.
I'll find out for you real quick.
Either way, as soon as Mark Hunt hits him with that fucking shot, they should play fucking Thunderstruck. They should just play that shit.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right. AC/DC. AC/DC is an Australian rock band formed in Sydney in 1973 by brothers Malcolm and Angus Young.
Perfect. They should fucking start that song. I know they play them when they come out to the ring, but after Mark Hunt knocks that damn dude out, they should play Thunderstruck from AC/DC.
All right. Main event is a rematch from Strikeforce days. Yoel Romero against Luke Rockhold for the interim.
Whoa. Calm down. This ain't no rematch.
I thought they fought before.
Is it?
I thought
they fought in Strikeforce. They fought in Strikeforce.
No, they didn't. Are you guys high?
Yeah, they did. Watch. Hold up.
No fucking way.
Hold up.
He fought Johnny Ray in Strikeforce.
I'm pretty sure they fought before.
You guys are high. I'm high, dude. But you guys are fucking no way.
Hold up.
So me and Eddie
my bad. You're right. Nah. Hey, he's right. I was thinking Jacare.
That's what it was. I didn't think Yoel was in Strikeforce, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't think he was either. But it was Jacare. Dude, I'm not excited about this card whatsoever. I mean, what are you gonna do? But anyway, regardless, it's for the light. It's for the middleweight interim belt.
Who's really gonna watch this pay-per-view card?
I'm gonna watch it for free.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna watch it later. I'm gonna DVR it.
Allegedly, you mean you're gonna watch it through maybe some tweets or allegedly free, right?
Look, man, I got shit to do this Saturday, so hopefully I get to it. Look, here's the thing. That's how I rate cards these days. Is am I willing to put everything else I gotta do off to watch it? This card doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm saying I got shit to do this weekend. I might skip the fights and watch them just like Fred said maybe on Sunday. But it's just sad, man. It's kind of whatever. Anyway, real quick, make your pick on the main event. I'm going Luke.
Luke's the logical pick, man. Luke's the smart pick, but I'm going Luke too. But I mean, if Yoel knocked this funny ass out in that first or second round, it wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, Jesse.
All right, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna say Romero by TKO second round.
I thought you were gonna say like double knockout, which would be awesome. Watch you get that right.
Classic.
Watch that happen. I still want to see that happen like in a huge fight. But
okay, just quickly though, how do you think this fight plays out? Do you think? I think Luke comes out throwing a shitload of kicks, tries to keep that big monster away from him, hit him to the fucking legs and to the body. And I think that should be effective with eventually Romero trying to lunge in and knock the fuck out. And the question is, when Romero lunges in, does he actually connect with one of those strikes? If he does, he'll put Luke out. But if Luke can avoid that, I think he can outstrike him at distance.
Stay exactly. Stay at distance the whole time. Kick. Just punish the body of Romero to where those takedowns don't mean shit. And one of those times he goes in for a takedown or even a shot, just go with a flying knee and his Knight Weidman style.
Look, I picked Romero, but I think we're gonna just see a repeat of the David Branch fight, where it's Luke really imposing his will and just beating the hell out of him. By the way, while I was gone, did you guys talk about that fight, the Valentina fight?
No, we didn't. It was sad.
We didn't even get into that.
Okay. Let's talk about that as our last topic here. Valentina Shevchenko beat the shit out of
Cachoeira.
Thank you, Cachoeira. I was thinking to figure out how to say it. Cachoeira. And first of all, young lady fought with a torn ACL, I believe. It was some kind of torn tendon in her knee. Knee was blown out, wasn't working well. Fought like that, and Mario Yamasaki tried to kill her. Now, do you agree? Okay. Let me put in this question real quick for Jesse first, obviously. Who do you blame? Who's to blame for that? Do you blame the ref for not saving her quit sooner? Do you blame the corner for not stopping the fight? Or do you blame the matchmaker, which I've seen a lot about, is the matchmaker is to blame for this one? What do you think, Jesse?
All right. The matchmaker, you cannot blame them because you have a fighter who's undefeated, has a pretty decent record, has been knocking chicks out. So to me, it's like the only way you know if someone's good and legit is putting them in there with somebody. And sometimes you get surprised and sometimes you don't. I think the blame mostly falls on both the referee and the corner. And I think a lot of it is the corner more so than anybody because let's say Eddie, when he had his jiu-jitsu tournament and he was getting his arm busted and the referee was just standing there not doing anything and Eddie's like screaming in pain and the arm is twisted. The next move is for me to jump over that fence and like do something to help my person there not get his arm totally destroyed, and if I'm just standing there oh well man, this looks pretty painful, I'm as much to blame as that referee. Now Yamasaki defended himself by saying that every time he would go in to stop the fight, she would move, she would change position, she was always trying to defend herself intelligently.
Right.
That feels kind of like a cop-out, but if you go back and look at the fight, she is moving herself, she is changing position, but at some point as a referee, you go, this is just not going to get any better. She just keeps moving from one place to another, and a different part of her face keeps getting beaten in. So, I think it's both. Both the corner and the referee should take most blame.
Johnson's in the comment says agrees with you on that one. It goes ref and then corner. Fred, what do you think?
Ref.
Yeah.
Ref. Mario Yamasaki, don't ever hold that fucking heart up again. We don't love you back for sure. And you don't love those fucking fighters. So stop putting that fucking heart up. He needs to fucking start throwing up the devil horns because he's a cocksucker.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
That's what he needs to do. Look, man.
By the way, hold on, Fred. Eddie, while Fred is finishing his comment, can you look up Mario Yamasaki's last tweet that he did? It's really savage what he tweeted here at the end. But go ahead, Fred.
It's just it's for me, it's all on fucking Mario Yamasaki, man. I mean, a little bit falls on their corner, but man, we know how this shit goes. They're fighters. You got to come back into the gym. Nobody wants to do that to their fighter. They don't want their fighter to think that they gave up hope in them. That's a different discussion to be had, but you cannot look, the ref is there because the corner usually doesn't have the fighter's best interest at heart. They have their pride at stake and shit like that. That's why they don't throw the towel in. How many times have we ever seen a corner throw the towel in? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
that's not going to happen. The ref is there to protect him.
Now,
go ahead, read the tweet.
Real quick, Jesse? Is it the pin tweet? Because the pin tweet's pretty good. Oh, he fucking fell out. There he is. Hey, Jesse, is it the pin tweet you were talking about?
Probably.
It says everyone wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit. You got to let fighters fight.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's great. No, you're wrong, dude. You're his sole job description is protect the fighters. He didn't do that.
Let the fighters fight. Holy fucking shit. That damn dude needs to be gotten out of here. He needs fired for that tweet.
Yeah, and real quick, just to point it out, this Yamasaki fucking tweet. It's from a parody, so he's just fucking around.
Fair. Okay, I was about to get hot.
Yeah,
like, are you fucking kidding me? But either way, listen, a ref's job is to protect the fighter. So here's the deal, right? Jesse said that Yamasaki tried to protect himself by saying every time he would step in to stop it, she would move a little. Well, goddamn, dude, she ain't getting beaten with electric sticks. Of course, she moved a little, but you as the ref need to understand jiu-jitsu and positions, and you need to look at the fight and be like, okay, yo, this bitch is not advancing. She's not, she's moving, but goddamn, she's not doing any of the proper things to actually defend herself. She's not getting to a better position. The strike count was like 400-2.
Right.
If you're in the UFC, you should be able to mount some kind of offense. And if you can't, the fight needs to be stopped. Clearly, you're outmatched. I mean, I slightly get what he was saying because, listen, I've seen people. I was just watching Luke Thomas earlier today, and there were people bringing up the Khabib versus Barboza fight, saying that Khabib mauled dude, but it wasn't the same thing. Yes, Khabib mauled him, and yes, Barboza did look in trouble, but Barboza was doing some of the right things. He was doing the right things to get out of there. Khabib's just an animal, you know what I'm saying? Homegirl wasn't even doing the right things. Fucking Shevchenko was just fucking steamrolling her, man. Like, and you as the ref should be trained in martial arts enough to look at that and see that and be like, okay, wait a minute. This one person clearly has a noted advantage over the other one. Because, I mean, you can let fighters take a lot more of a beating than they do a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? But your job as the ref to look and be like, okay, this is not going to, she's not dead yet. She's not completely knocked unconscious. But we all know what time it is. The fight's over. That's how we do in MMA. You don't necessarily have to be knocked out for the ref to be like, all right, we've seen enough. That's where this is headed.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, and it's weird that commissions keep hiring this dude, no matter how many complaints he gets. I mean, shit. People are gonna fire. Like places won't hire other people, and if their fucking reviews are awful, right? So, it's I mean, by the way, when's the last time we saw Mazzagatti? Mazzagatti, is that his name?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't
seen him forever.
He was one of the ones that had the fucking, or was he the one that does the heart? No, Yamasaki does the heart.
Yamasaki does the heart.
Okay, yeah.
By the
all
way,
these fucking pricks got some little tagline now.
Yeah, fucking who did someone used to do this shit?
Yeah,
I don't know, Herb Dean does that.
Something.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Yeah, Jesse has to work. Anyway, all right. That's gonna do it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Everyone that was in the YouTube comments, appreciate you guys. You guys are the shit. Hit up repthewarriors.com, get some represent gear. Follow me at Elo31. Follow Fred at Kirby_MMA. Jesse's at Spawat1983. The page is at KeepItWarriorsMMA.com. Keep It Warriors MMA on Instagram, iTunes, all the shit. Follow all that stuff. Subscribe everywhere. Like the video, comment. Anyway, for myself, Fred Kirby, just to everybody on the team. Good night and good night, Wilshire.